Hello and welcome to Midnight Chapters with Danny. Grab your favorite beverage and a snack before you settle in for tonight's episode where I deep dive into The Crucifix Killer, the official first novel of the Robert Hunter series written by Chris Carter. Warning, there may be some spoilers ahead, and be warned, this novel isn't for the faint of heart, filled with grotesque and hauntingly descriptive content. In last week's episode, I gave you a bit of a backstory on the author Chris Carter, as well as a bit of a backstory of the main character, Robert Hunter, so if you haven't listened to my episode of The Hunter, make sure you listen to it before continuing here. Now, as I previously explained before, the Robert Hunter series main character is none other than Robert Hunter himself, who has a PhD in criminal psychology and profiling, his expertise clearly showing, but we'll circle back to it towards the end. Throughout the novels, and many of you will notice as I didn't mention it in the previous episode, that Hunter was a prodigy child whose 4 years of high school were condensed into 2, and at 15 he'd graduated with honors. He also graduated from Stanford University summa cum laude at 19, studying psychology, and at 23 he received his PhD in criminal behavior analysis and biopsychology. One of Hunter's professors was so impressed with his thesis paper, titled An Advanced Psychological Study in Criminal Conduct, that it became and remains mandatory reading at the FBI Academy in Quantico, Virginia. Hunter also carries around the emotional scars from his parents' tragic deaths that haunt him. The loss of his parents at a young age left him grappling with feelings of abandonment and unresolved grief, and his wounds contribute to his guarded demeanor, making it difficult for him to form close relationships. Yet, it fills him with empathy and understanding of human suffering, which adds depth to his overall character. It is also where his insomnia is rooted from, a symptom of his troubled past and a reflection of the toll his work takes on him. Would you think that his sleeplessness enhances his abilities as a detective, or does it take too great a toll on him? By now you also know Chris Carter has worked as a criminal forensic psychologist, greatly influencing this novel and the rest of the Robert Hunter series, which thus far is totaling at 13 novels excluding The Hunter, which is the prequel as previously mentioned. So let's dive right in. This is the beginning where we meet Hunter's new rookie partner, Carlos Garcia. They both work at the robbery and homicide department in their own special unit, the ultra-violent crimes unit, where they tend to crimes that are off the charts and completely tip the scales as far as violence is concerned. The type of crimes one couldn't even begin to imagine, never mind come across in real life. It all starts with an anonymous phone call through to 911. The crime scene takes place in a house that's rather secluded and pretty dilapidated. The house's creaking floors really add to that eerie feeling, the feeling of death floating in the air as Hunter and Garcia walk into the bedroom and discover the naked body of a woman hung from 2 parallel wooden posts, with her arms spread as wide as they could possibly go. Her knees bent to place her in a type of kneeling Y position. Ropes had been used to restrain her wrists against the top of the poles, which had cut deep into her flesh. But the part that make her undefinable is her skinless face. Her eyes puffed out of their sockets, her mouth hanging open without teeth, and a mirror purposefully placed in front of her where she would have spent her last hours staring at her disfigured reflection, going through both mental torture as well as physical torture. Dr. Winston, who works at the Department of Coroner, soon comes across something eye-catching and calls Hunter and Garcia to come have a look, a symbol which looked like 2 crosses and one on the nape of the victim's neck. Back at the Department of Coroner, they end up using a computer software program to regenerate an image of what the victim would look like had her face not been skinned. The victim, who appears to be in the age range of her early to mid-20s, a well-toned muscular body and long golden blonde hair. All giving Hunter a gut feeling this wasn't going to end there. Eventually, Hunter and Garcia go back and forth discussing an old case of the Crucifix Killer, who had been caught nearly 2 years prior, convicted and executed for his crimes that consisted of 7 horrific murders, all with a rather similar MO, hinting at a possible copycat killer. The Crucifix Killer was someone who, to him, thought he was ridding the world of sinners by targeting drug addicts and prostitutes. Garcia then brings up that rumor had it that either Hunter or his previous partner never believed that the man who they caught, Mike Farlow, was the true Crucifix Killer, despite all the evidence found in Mike Farlow's car and his instant confession upon his interrogation. Hunter had his suspicions, as the real Crucifix Killer always called him Robert when taunting him. However, Mike Farlow, the man who was convicted, kept referring to him as detective during the interrogation. Hunter's gut feeling proves to be true as he gets a phone call from none other than the killer himself with the same chilling voice that Hunter remembers all too well, simply taunting him. The killer then phones Hunter again, this time telling him that in 2.5 minutes there's a dog race starting at the Jefferson County Kennel Club. The catch, however, is that Hunter needs to pick the winner or else he will claim another victim. Not long after this, things take a turn for the worse as Hunter makes the wrong choice and a second victim is found by the name of George Slater, a 33-year-old attorney who is reported missing by his wife Catherine. George was found in his car, his hands tied to the steering wheel, wearing nothing but a pair of pin-striped boxer shorts saturated in blood and covered in boil-like blisters on his body. But as usual, there's a catch. George is still alive and is rushed to the hospital for medical assistance. However, as Hunter and Garcia make it to the hospital, asking where they can find George Slater, they're met with suspicious news. He was already dead on arrival. Hunter and Garcia start to go back and forth with the doctor as they speculate that the boil-like blisters is some sort of allergic reaction or a type of fast-acting disease that led to George's death. Obviously, should it be contagious, it could lead to a horrific epidemic where there would be a citywide panic. Moving along to the Department of Coroner, Dr. Winston shows Hunter and Garcia the same symbol that looks like two crosses and one on the nape of George Slater's neck, which confirmed that George Slater was indeed the victim of the same killer. Also, that the boil-like blisters are actually a flesh-eating bacteria that make it seem as if the victim is being eaten from the inside out, causing flu-like symptoms and blister-like rashes. So now we have a better idea of what killed George Slater. The speculation based on the evidence found on George Slater's body is that he was injected with the virus and then stuck in a wooden box to panic and speed things up, explaining why Dr. Winston had found wood chips under his nails during his autopsy and why the virus effect took so quickly. Later on, Hunter and Garcia come across a rather odd coincidence where two missing women, Victoria Baker and Jenny Farnborough, could both be a positive match to the computer-generated image of the first victim. They start to look for evidence to understand whether their first victim is either of these women, or if maybe there's even a possibility that it is someone else altogether. Jenny Farnborough worked for a guy by the name of D. King as one of his top girls. Hunter and Garcia put a tail on him to get as much information regarding Jenny as possible. Victoria Baker, on the other hand, works at a gym, but there's a catch that she's also having an affair with her boss, a not-so-happily married man, and Hunter asks to see her locker where he acquired a hairbrush and a can of deodorant to send away for DNA testing, hoping to link one of the women as the first victim. Now we know the real Crucifix Killer thinks of himself as someone ridding the world of sinners, meaning both Jenny and Victoria fit his criteria: prostitution or escorts, as well as adultery. After all of that, Hunter says Garcia can go home for the night. On his way home, Garcia stops at a convenience store to buy some flowers for his wife Anna, but before heading home, he sits in his car contemplating some thoughts: that Victoria Baker had been the victim and Jenny Farnborough had simply gone missing. Garcia suddenly remembers that they should call off the tail on D. King, but before he has a chance, there's a mysterious figure who swiftly gets the jump on him and injects him in the neck, the drug taking a rather instant effect, and before Garcia could comprehend anything, he's already being dragged away and shoved into a van. Not long after, Hunter gets a phone call from the killer asking him if he's seen his partner lately, sending Hunter's heart and his mind racing. On that note, I'll pause here. I don't want to spoil the experience for you, but trust me, it only gets better from here with the remaining twists and turns that take place. I did leave out some explicit content which adds a little more of shock factor to the whole story. Who is the first victim, Jenny or Victoria? Do you already know? In conclusion, this killer liked abducting his victims, torturing them, then leaving them for dead, all while taunting Hunter and Garcia by leaving them puzzles to solve on a time limit. Each victim seems to be carefully selected, not at random, but for reasons rooted in their pasts. I won't delve into specifics, I will say this: each victim reveals a disturbing piece of the puzzle, ensuring that each victim fits into a larger, twisted narrative. Their stories are heart-wrenching, highlighting the emotional impact these crimes have on the people left behind, and through each of their stories, we see how the killer selects his victims with chilling precision. Their fates reveal important clues about the Crucifix Killer's methods, motives, and psychological patterns. Their stories serve as small pieces of the puzzle that Hunter must assemble in order to get closer to the truth. throwing us with yet another case that has taken a sharp turn involving a brutal serial killer with both horrifying and meticulously planned methods, a method to his madness, if you will. What do you make of the Crucifix Killer's motives and methods? Do you think they were adequately explained in the book? I definitely think so. Hunter has such resilience when facing unspeakable horrors and delusional psychopaths, his PhD in forensic psychology proving just how exceptional his observation and criminal profiling skills are. He dives deep into minds of killers to anticipate their next moves and understand their motives, just as much as his ability to connect seemingly unrelated pieces of evidence, his relentless pursuit of the truth. And his occasional moments of quiet introspection make him a standout. The crimes Hunter faces will always be grotesque, pushing him to fight the deeply psychological effects of it time and time again, despite specializing in cases involving particularly brutal and heinous murders. Chris Carter's own background in forensic psychology and criminal profiling is what makes him such a phenomenal author. His pure ability to create tension and suspense is unparalleled in the crime thriller genre. Chris Carter gives you glimpses into the victims, the killer, as well as Hunter and Garcia, showing the psychological profile of both the killer and the victims. Capturing the vast difference between the lives of Hunter and Garcia really makes them a good team, a dynamic duo that works together seamlessly despite their contrasting personalities, showing how different their emotional barriers are. Garcia, who is always concerned for his wife while in theory Hunter feels he has nothing worth living for should anything happen to him, and he steps out time and time again willing to sacrifice himself for those around him. Garcia's more lighthearted, humorous approach balances Hunter's intensity. Hunter isn't a typical hardened detective. He is intelligent and vulnerable, which makes him a character you can't help but root for. The fact that they balance each other out is essential to their success as detectives. We really get to see the partnership and friendship between Hunter and Garcia develop throughout the series, one built on trust, mutual respect, and unwavering loyalty. Their dynamic really is a combination of professionalism and camaraderie. Despite the dark nature of their work, their bond adds an element of warmth and humanity to the series. Carlos Garcia really is such a beloved character alongside Robert Hunter. The crime scene is described in a hauntingly vivid way, so much so that you feel like you're standing right there witnessing it all, feeling the suffocating air of death. This novel will have your mind racing long after its final page. It really isn't just a book, it's an experience. Maybe Chris Carter is challenging us to confront the darkest corners of the human mind? I love how there's never a way to really predict anything. You're always met with plot twist after plot twist, stuck on the edge of your seat. I'll never not mention how much this factor means to me. It's like a secret ingredient that adds to the phenomenal outcome of the novel. Trust me when I say that the stakes get higher and higher. The victims aren't treated as mere tools for advancing the plot. Instead, they're given great depth and humanity, which makes their loss even more haunting and the stakes in Hunter's investigation even higher. If you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend adding The Crucifix Killer to your TBR. It is available on Amazon, and for those who have read it, what did you think? Which part of the book had the biggest impact on you? For those who have read more of the series, how do you feel The Crucifix Killer sets the stage for Robert Hunter's journey throughout the rest of the series? Let me know your thoughts, theories, or simply your favorite moments in the comments. This episode is in no way sponsored. The Robert Hunter series I purchased myself, besides one or two of the novels who were gifted by friends and family. My honest, unfiltered opinions are entirely my own. Advising that the novels are available for purchase on Amazon is purely a plug that is available in most areas, etc. There's nothing wrong with thrifting from pre-loved bookstores. The choice is entirely yours. Let me know in the comments where you got your copy of The Crucifix Killer. Let's plug other book lovers who would like to add it to their TBR. Next week, I deep dive right into The Executioner, the second book of the Robert Hunter series, so stay tuned for that. You really don't want to miss out. As always, make sure to like and follow for more. Check out our Instagram page for future giveaways and other bookish content. Happy reading and good night, everyone.